Hi everyone, today I'd like to show you how I would win a government contract in 30 days if I had to start from scratch. So I'm going to show you the process from the beginning all the way to the end. So first, we're going to start with week one, and that's by building the foundation. So without those things, we can't move forward, so might as well get done as soon as possible. First thing you want to do is you want to register with SAM.gov. I have a video on my channel for how to register on SAM.gov. There are plenty of resources. But in simple, you have to come here and then you have to register your entity or get a unique entity ID. That's where you get started. So I'm not going to dive too deep into this because it will require a video, but it's a simple process that you should be able to do, and it should be the first step that you should do. Now, once you're done with registering your business, we want to choose one NAICS code. Now, if you don't know what a NAICS code is, what that means is it's one specific niche or an industry we're going to focus on. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin. So we're just going to focus on one industry, one niche, make sure we master it, find contracts, and win them in that specific niche. Once you define your NAICS code, I have a blog on how to find your NAICS code, and it has a list of all the NAICS codes that you need. And there's also a free NAICS code Chrome extension that you can add to get the NAICS code easily. So it shouldn't be a challenge. I'll leave a link for these resources in the description. Then we're just going to start simple. We're going to locate 5 current contracts in our specific niche. Then we're going to study 10 past awards via FPDS. Now, why do we need to study past contracts? Because we want to know which companies won these contracts, how much were they awarded for, so we can kind of choose our pricing and give us an idea of how much we should price it. And also it would allow us to understand what we need to submit or how we should position our business to actually win the government contract. So how I find the current contracts, I simply just search on SAM Search. So I could type in the NAICS code if I'm searching by NAICS code, or I can just type in like alarm system, for example. I would just type in what I'm looking for, and then it would show me government contracts relevant to what I'm looking for. So here, if you find specifically, I'm searching for sources sought and pre-solicitation, and I'm going to get into that. But before I forget, I mentioned that we want to locate 10 past awards via FPDS. So the FPDS website is fpds.gov. Then you want to search by the NAICS code. So I'm searching by 541350, and then finding all of these past awards from different agencies, and with each one seeing the obligation amount. So you can see this one, for example, is $25,000. This one is $16,000. We can click on each one of these awards, and then we can kind of get an idea of the business that won this and how much they were awarded for, and we get details about these contracts. So this would give us a good understanding of what we need to be doing in our bid, right? Now, that's just for week one. We registered our business, we chose the NAICS code, we studied 10 past awards, and then we located 5 current contracts in our niche. With the way I've shown you, this should not take you a lot of time, and we should be good to move on to week 2. So in week 2, we want to gather intelligence. So I know a lot of people jump directly to SAM.gov. I understand that, but what we want to start with before is we want to prepare ourselves to be in the best shape to actually win the contract. So first, we gather intelligence. How do we do that? We find key decision makers. Now, let's say I'm looking at this contract. I want to get the information of the primary contact, and I want to understand their position. So I would have to do research, maybe on LinkedIn, maybe on the agency's website. But I have to understand what their job is. Are they the people that are responsible for making the decision on this or not? And I could scroll by the agency and see who are the people that are making the call on this. It should be very straightforward on SAM Search or SAM.gov, whatever you use. Now, once we identify these people, we might want to reach out to them, and I will share more info on that. But we also want to monitor sources sought and forecasts. So sources sought, the way we're going to go with this, we're not going to bid on solicitations. We're going to start early in the process with sources. So how do we make sure we never miss out on sources? You have to have a scheduling software that, and in this case, I use SAM Search, that sends me alerts for, let's say I'm looking at this specific NAICS code and I want to look daily for sources sought. This way, if it finds something relevant in that NAICS code or that query, it's going to send me a contract. This way, I'm ahead of everyone else. The second it lands, I'm there. So this way, I'm getting alerts for these. Even better, which is getting forecast data, and that's being added to SAM Search. But in the meantime, what you could do is you could go to a website called acquisitiongateway.com. Here you can find around 10,000 forecasted items. So what you do is you paste in your NAICS code and you search for forecast. These are opportunities that are not on SAM.gov yet. You're ahead of everyone else. You're looking even before it becomes sources sought. It's forecasted in the future. So what you do, you go through these, you find the ones that are relevant, you get the agency name, and then you go and contact them to get ahead of everyone else. This is like key insight that I'm giving you that most people on YouTube would not give you. This is where you would find these forecasts, acquisitiongateway.gov. There's also a second website called apfsclouddhs.gov. This also has acquisition forecast. The same exact way, you put in the NAICS code, and then you will find forecast for the future. This one even gives you the dollar range and the estimated time to be released. So it's important you jump on these before they even get on SAM.gov. So tell me, how much ahead are you of the competition? Before it even lands on SAM.gov, you are there. So that's why I'm telling you, we want to gather intelligence. We're tracking opportunities, we're monitoring forecasts, and if you have SAM Search, this should drop soon as well, forecast, and I'll make a video on it. We're finding key decision makers. Now, when we have their contact information, we can send clear, focused capability statements, and we can introduce ourselves. Hey, contracting officer, we are X, Y, and Z. We do this X, Y, and Z. We saw that you have a forecasted opportunity for June that's dropping in June. I just wanted to introduce myself and see if you want my help with sources sought or with my capabilities. This is my capability statement for reference. This way you develop a relationship, and people buy from people. That's a key thing across everything. So even if you're selling to the government, people, contracting officers in this case, they buy from people that they trust. So this way you are building a relationship. And as I've shown you, you want to set alerts on SAM Search. This way, the second it hits SAM.gov, you're on it. Now we're done with week 2. We gathered intelligence. The next step is to prepare ourselves for as much as possible. So how do we do that? We define templates. So always with any bid that you're going to place, you're going to want to submit your past performances. So might as well have a template ready with all of your past performances. You want to have your cover letter. You can have a document ready with that. Pricing, you can set up documents or templates for pricing. These will always be needed. So instead of repeating the same thing over and over, just make templates of them. This way we're staying organized. And with SAM Search, you can store all of your documents in one place, and these will be used later in your proposal by the AI. So this way, if you build templates, you build it once and you let AI then use it to generate proposals. The second thing that a lot of people ignore is use old solicitations, use things in the past to kind of rehearse a proposal. This way, when it lands, sources sought lands, for example, and you're ahead, you have a template ready. Finally, you want to build partnerships with potential teaming partners. So if you're starting out, you might not have a strong past performances, or you're not be kind of developed with working with the government. So what you would do is you would find potential partners. Now, this is an open-ended thing that a lot of people just say that and they leave it at that. I'm going to give you actionable advice on how to actually find partners. So if we're looking at an opportunity on SAM Search, for example, this one, then when we scroll to the bottom in the analytics section, you can find potential primes that you can work with. And these are companies that have one specifically with that agency for that specific niche. So it's very, very tailored. So it's important that you go and you also see what the amount that they were awarded. So you're not subcontracting with a business that you're not sure if they work with the government or you're not sure how to find them. This finds them for you. So for example, this one is T1 Construction. They won 2.5 by the Department of the Interior for building inspection services. So you click on them and you go and try and reach out to them and discuss a potential partnership with them. So it doesn't get easier than this than finding partners. So already you have 3 partners that you can reach out to. And it's very specific. So these are people in that niche working with that specific agency. So it can get better than this when it comes to partners. Now, moving on to week 4, which is when we want to execute our plan. So what we want to do is, with the templates we have used, we want to answer sources sought or an RFQ. RFQ is request for a quote as soon as possible. As soon as it lands for our niche code or our niche, we want to answer a sources sought, and then we want to make sure that we follow. So we reach out to the agency, and if we started earlier, maybe we caught it in forecast, we already have developed a relationship. The second it lands, we submit for it, and then we reach out and follow up, maybe introduce ourselves and get an update. So it's very important that you build up a relationship during the sources sought phase. Now, once you give them a sources sought, in exchange for giving them these sources, what you want to do is you want to ask for a meeting. So once you ask for a meeting, you want to sit down with the contracting officers and get more details. So you could say, like, is there a budget for this year? When do you think this will be released? What details do you think this will be released for small businesses only or not? You could ask specific details about the service that you're going to offer. So this way, you are getting deep insights that might not be mentioned later on in the solicitation, that they will mention to you. Now, let's say they might tell you, oh, we're not releasing this this year. We're not sure about that yet. Maybe we will release it next year. In that case, you make a note in your calendar. And if you're tracking this with SAMsearch, you'll be able to have it in the ticket here. So you would say, for example, here in the tasks, you could add a task that says, follow up with this agency next year, this date. So this way you can talk to them when they said they plan to release it. If they say, for example, no, we're ready to release this as soon as possible, then you get yourself ready to prepare a bid. And also you can influence them. If they see that you are a small business and you convince them that you are capable of performing this, then you might tell them it might be worth it. You'll find businesses like my business that are small businesses that are capable of performing this, because the agency might think, oh no, we'll release this to the open because we don't think enough small businesses will be able to perform this service or provide this job for them. So it's very important that you start as early as possible in the process. I've even shown you ways that you can get forecasted data, and that's like as early as it gets. And these are really like deep insights that I think you should capitalize on. Now, that's it for 30 days. You should be, if you're starting now, you should be in 4 weeks, you should be ready to submit your first response to a sources sought. Tools that I've shared with you that I think will help you immensely. Obviously, SoundWithGov, you need to register on the website, but you don't need to use it for search. SAMsearch has government contracts and deep analytics and AI across state, federal, local, and education. So it's a lot easier to set alerts, stay organized, get analytics, chat with the government contracts using it. So you're not spending a lot of time on SoundWithGov. And then, as I've shown you, and also get forecasted data as well. As I've shown you, FBD and USA spending will help you immensely in figuring out your pricing, seeing what companies in the past that won these contracts, how much they priced. You can get more information about the company itself. So you'll be able to give a very competitive bid. Now, final thoughts. Your first contract is definitely the toughest. It gets easier as you win more contracts, but it's definitely doable. Focus, use the tools I've shared with you, and follow through consistently, because 30 days can get you noticed or even win. Because if you land on the right thing, get early, as I've mentioned, you will have a possibility of developing a strong relationship with an agency and being the go-to business for that specific service. So it's very important you do this the right way. So as I've mentioned, just to wrap things up, week 1, we want to register, select a niche, and do research. Week 2, we want to find contracts, monitor, and engage with agency and contracting officers. Week 3, we're building templates, we're practicing, and we're finding potential partners and reaching out to them. And then finally, week 4, the week of execution, we are submitting a proposal to a sources sought or pre-solicitation. We're following up, and we are also introducing ourselves to agencies. And that's it. Stay focused, leverage the tools I gave you. It will make your life a lot easier and increase your chances of winning. And execute. Do not procrastinate, and make sure you execute, because your business relies on you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave the links for all the tools that I've shared in the description, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.